All right, everybody. I am here today with Luz Sanchez. Hey, Luz.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. And she is with the Sanchez team at Douglas Elliman. Sorry, real estate. The reason why I wanted to have you on, Luz, is because your background before you were a realtor was in hospitality. And
Yes.
I think that hospitality and real estate has a lot in common. So what are some of the things that like you learned in hospitality that you think have really helped you in your career?
Well, I gotta say the one thing that I learned that I use daily in real
Hmm.
estate is the customer service aspect of it.
Right.
Um, so my role in hospitality wasn't just servicing, right? So I was in a sales role within the hotel business.
Hmm.
So it was I'm here to service you, but I'm also listening to you so that I can
Yeah.
provide that product that you're really asking me for.
But you're not asking, right? And I think that's
Exactly.
like the nail on the head. That's the difference between like customer service and sales. Customer service just responds to the request, and sales is a
Exactly.
more active listening, which is what you're saying. You're asking questions, you're hearing for the unsaid.
Right, and I'm looking visually as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking at everything.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
looking at your lips, the little smirks on your face. Are you
Hmm.
smiling? Are you frowning? What are your eyes telling me? Your body gesture, because all of that really plays into it. Because you can have a nice, beautiful smile, but if your
Right.
body's like,
Right. Or like
like
you're
maybe
closed
you're not
off like
liking what
this.
I
Yeah.
said. Exactly. So it was. I mean, I work for one of the biggest brands, or yeah, brands, I guess, hotel chains,
Mhm.
and extensive training in this type of selling. It was really
That would
just,
be interesting if we did that as real estate agents, like training like that, because there's really no training about that.
oh no, hey, I want to go become a real estate agent. Sure, go sit
Sure.
in a class. They
Right.
tell you everything you are not allowed to do that you will get fines for
Right.
or to get
Stupid.
jail time.
Yeah. Well, there's no realtor jail. It's a myth.
Yeah. But
So what,
that's what they tell you, right?
yeah, that is what they tell you. Can you pinpoint like a couple of quick tips that people can like think about now for like active listening and that like really listening like you're talking about?
Um, Always keeping that eye contact,
Mhm.
and especially now in this market that you can't meet with people in person,
Yeah.
with the pandemic, when we're doing these videos, like you really need to pay attention to
Mhm.
what's going on because we easily get distracted on a computer.
Yeah.
We want to be superheroes and we want to, do 50 things at the same time because
Right.
we think we can.
You can. Yeah, I like it. So like really focusing on not only what they're saying, but like how they're looking, like the small unsaid cues. And
It's those
yeah.
things, and I think as realtors, we need to be, especially now, we need to set the expectation of,
Mhm.
hey, you want me to provide you with the service to find something for you.
Mhm.
This is what I'm going to need from you to help me
Mhm.
do that.
Yeah, right.
so, so
Which is what?
it's
Proof of funds.
example, you
Yeah.
know, buyers, right? Let's just say a buyer. Hey, you get the phone call, you know, when you're calling me as a buyer, your time is valuable.
Right.
But my time is just as valuable too. However,
Mhm.
I want to dedicate time to talk
Mhm.
to you. And
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you that.
Mhm.
I may be busy at the time. Let's set a time, 15 minutes. Let's talk. And
Right.
during that time, I'm really going to get to know you and ask you
Mhm.
questions. And,
Mhm.
and I will tell you that. Don't be
Yeah.
offended by me asking you a question. I'm not trying to be nosy. I'm trying to
Right.
get to know you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I like that. I definitely think like agents could benefit from that type of training as
Yes.
part of a licensing because that's a sales um that's part of being in sales and we don't get any
Right.
sales training.
Exactly. And not a lot of people have the opportunity to go into sales training. And
Mhm.
so they come into this business and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, they don't realize it's a cold call commission sales
Exactly.
job.
you got to work hard.
Right. Exactly. You don't get paid if you don't have a customer.
Exactly.
Right. What else did you learn from working at a hotel that you think has kind of put you ahead of other agents that maybe didn't have that experience?
So I always say we have to be a chameleon in this
Hmm.
business, because you're not always going to deal with the same type of personality, right? We all have
Oh my
different
God,
types of
there's,
personalities.
you don't even deal with the personalities that are like defined. You're dealing with all the
Exactly.
undefined stuff too.
Exactly. So we need to learn how to adapt
Hmm.
to the client, because I need to be at the same level as they are. So if they're way up here, I'm going to
Right.
be up here with them to a
Right.
certain point
Hmm.
to hone it in. But if
Right.
they're a little bit more relaxed, I'm going to be a little bit more relaxed. I'm not going to be high strung and we got
Right.
to do this now.
How did they teach you that in the hotels?
uh you know we sat in classes and they gave us manuals and said, hey, these are the disc personalities
Yeah.
of people. But that kind of lumped everybody into like specific
Right.
personalities. And it, I think it took a lot of me having to train myself mentally and saying, okay, don't take things personally, sit
Hmm.
back,
Hmm.
listen to what's being said,
Hmm.
look at what's being said. And
Hmm.
I always had to repeat that to myself in my head,
Hmm.
and give myself that pep talk
Yeah.
in advance and say, be open, listen, let
Right.
them say what they have to say, don't
Hmm.
over speak on them,
Yeah.
and then take your turn.
And then I always think too, like people react or people will say things and it'll be logical to them. So
Yes.
sometimes when they're saying something that seems out of the blue, it's like, what what made them say that in their head that made sense,
Yes.
and kind of like filling in those gaps
Yes. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's something else that happens. And I think this happens in our everyday lives,
all the
like
time.
husband and wife, right?
Yeah.
I'll say something in my head, it makes perfect sense
That's because
on
you've
what
had a
I'm
whole
saying.
conversation with him
And
in your
then
head.
his response is 100% the opposite direction. And I'm like, what is going
Right,
on?
right.
So, and I actually read something on that. I don't even know where, like last week. And they said that the words that are being said sometimes are not really what's being said.
Right.
So I've learned to sit back and take it in and kind of play it in my head. And if I don't understand what you're saying, I'm going to say,
Mhm.
can you rephrase that for me?
Right. Exactly. Or did you, yeah, like, did you mean this? Or did, yeah. Or
Exactly.
like, what do you
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. Can you put that in a different question, say it differently, or exactly as you say, like, is this what you mean?
But that's like perfect for buyers, right? Because it's like, and even sellers, but it's more
Yeah.
easily applicable to buyers because it's like they'll say, I want, a 3 bedroom, 2 bath condo for, in your case, and you're in Miami, want a 3 bedroom, 2 bath condo for under 1 million. And you're like,
Can I set some realistic expectations for you?
but you can be like, okay, what, tell me more about those 3 bedrooms because maybe you know them, you know their lifestyle, and there's no way
Exactly.
they're going to use 3 bedrooms and it doesn't exist, right? So like
Exactly.
helping them, but they're just parroting and helping them clarify why they're saying that because
Yes.
chances are it's not truly what they want.
Exactly. And I have found that that's 90% of the time
Oh, but yeah, for
what
sure.
it is. You don't know. I mean, that's like me. I thought I knew what I wanted in a
Hmm.
house when I first purchased my home.
Hmm.
and,
Right. Everybody
and
did.
then when I got into the home, I was like,
I don't
hmm,
want this.
maybe
Yeah.
that's not what I was looking for.
Right, right, exactly. But if you
So,
had somebody that, if you had an agent that was maybe like asking you more questions, you may or may not have like figured that out faster, right? But like,
exactly. Yeah. I went obviously and did it on my own because I'm an agent. And I was like,
oh, Luz, never
hey,
do it
I
on
know
your own.
everything. So,
How'd
I
that
think
work out?
well, it was like the perfect storm, right?
Yeah.
So, one, I was an agent and I was like, no, I'm going to go do this myself.
Yeah.
And two, I was 8.5 months pregnant and I was searching for a house. And it was just,
That's insane.
yeah. So, it was just one of those things like that was like my perfect storm. And I literally signed a week before I gave birth, go in, give birth, and then a week later moved into my new
Are
house.
you serious?
So while I was in the hospital with baby, my husband, my two older kids, and all their friends and my family were literally painting, moving furniture in, making baby furniture, putting it
Oh
together.
my gosh.
So it was like a whole team.
Yeah, we'll have another talk on should you represent yourself in your own transactions. It's going to be a hard, definitely not. Do
Yeah,
not do it. That's funny.
exactly.
I like it. Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is really understanding the difference between a sales and customer service, and we are sales. Because I
Yes.
think it's so easy just to be like, we're customer service, but we're not. That's
No,
not why we get paid for what we do. We are sales.
we are sales. And I think one of the other things that I put is just like I know people say this statement all the time, but I really treat the people the way I want to be treated.
Right.
And I think that goes a long way.
So what
in
does
the
that mean to you?
To me, I want to be respected as,
Yeah.
as a buyer, but I want to be respected as an agent as well for what I
Hmm.
do. And since I've been on both sides,
Hmm.
I've been on all three sides, right? I've been the seller, a buyer,
Right.
and an agent, right?
Hmm.
Um, you know, e- each role is unique in itself.
Yeah.
But regardless, I want to be respected
Yes.
in each of those roles. Like as the buyer, I want you to listen to me and
Hmm.
hear me out. And,
Hmm.
if I want to complain about something, I just need you to listen to me.
Yeah, that's true.
So, um, and I don't want to be that agent that's like, I don't want to hear your stuff. Like we're
Right.
just all business.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Right.
like I'm your support team. I'm here to get you from point A to point B,
Hmm.
and be happy about it. Like I always say that in this business, yes, we sell houses, right? Like we sell
Right.
houses, we buy houses, right?
Right.
But really, we are that person in the middle that brings two like minds together
Yeah.
for an agreement.
Right. Right.
So
Exactly.
we have to balance it because this role, we balance a lot of stuff.
It's a lot. And I think you bring up a good point about it's easy because we do it all the time. It's easy for us to forget how stressful it is
Yes.
for somebody who hasn't done it in, say, 5 or 10 or sometimes 30 years,
Yes.
haven't sold or, a house or bought a
Exactly.
house. And
It's
so, like,
stressful.
taking that step back, right, taking that step back and really like listening to them and deciding, and this is where the sales comes in, sales training, deciding like, are they really making a request or
Yes.
are they just venting because people only move because of something else, because they're getting a
Exactly.
bigger family in your case, or the kids went away, or they're getting married or getting divorced or whatever. There's something else that's happening.
Exactly. There's always something behind the scenes that we don't know
Hmm.
that they necessarily don't want to say. Some people are very, very private, and some people
Yeah.
just tell you everything, right?
Right.
But it's regardless of whether we have all the info, but or not, which I
Yeah.
don't think we ever have the whole story,
No, they don't even have it.
right? We need to learn how to get the info without being too intrusive and respecting
Yeah.
the buyer or seller.
Yeah. No,
But
that's true.
I always say like I want to treat my people the way that I want to be treated, and
Hmm.
that's like my biggest caveat, like
Yeah.
hands
And for
down.
me, that's like more like answering the phone or getting back to people promptly,
Right.
answering questions before they're asked. Because a lot of times when people ask you a question, they've already had 10 other ones.
Oh
And so
yeah,
like thinking about like, why would they ask me that? What else are they probably missing that they don't
exactly.
understand about the process or they have questions about, you know?
Exactly, exactly. And our job is to be that proactive. We don't want to
Mhm.
be the reactive. So
No.
we have to take a lot of time to learn our markets and understand what's going on so that we can
Right.
give the right information when we
Exactly.
need it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, I know we started off the video as like how the hotel training like helped you be in real
Yes,
estate, but really it's about how they gave you sales training and the
they did.
benefits that that would have had that will have to every realtor.
Yes. Yeah, no, I mean, the experience that I got from the hotel business was just and is just invaluable. I mean,
Well, you're
there
dealing with so many people all the time. It's kind of like rapid fire.
and it is. And the
Mhm.
hotel business, as much as we try to be proactive,
Yeah.
it's very reactive.
Yeah. Right. I
It can
imagine.
be very reactive, and so that was something that I had to learn
Hmm.
not to do in the real estate business
Hmm.
as well. So I had to now change it and be proactive. Now, as a sales role in hotels, yes, we had to be proactive. We needed to every day figure out what was the rate going to be,
Right.
and as in this day and age, there's systems that do that for you, but
Right.
there's nothing more valuable than being able to figure it out by hand, pulling out some reports
Oh,
and
wow.
knowing how to do that. Because we have fancy systems as realtors,
Yeah.
but sometimes those things don't pull out the correct information.
No, that's true. I mean, that's just like, all the automated valuation systems, like
Yes,
they're just pulling like a circle or whatever. They're not taking in the
exactly.
nuances of the house, or maybe in this case, the system wasn't taking into account that there was a trade show in town,
Exactly.
or something like that.
Exactly. So I learned that, and so of course I apply those things in real estate, and I like hand and paper, and I will write it down and figure it out, and like I mean I have a calculator here,
Nice.
it's one of those
You don't
things.
use your phone? Liz, we're gonna do technology and real estate. No, I'm just kidding.
So, but that's just again, it's just one of those things that I took that and now I turned it around and I use it in real
Right.
estate to make me better
Yeah.
for that buyer, for that seller.
Right. Exactly. No, I think that's really, really great. I appreciate you bringing like it's all stuff that like we know and we think about, but like bringing it to light is
Yeah.
really helpful. And I think, yeah, anybody who hasn't had a sales job, they would definitely benefit from like some type of sales training.
Oh yeah. I think anybody benefits from a sales training,
Oh
like
yeah, you can always learn stuff
basics.
for sure.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
you're in Miami and Fort Lauderdale area, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
So if
Yeah.
people have a referral for you there, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, as I tell everybody, I'm available email, text, or phone call.
Okay, great.
Uh, so my cell phone number is 786-567-0386. If you prefer email, you're more than welcome to do that as well. It's Luz, and that's Luz
Mhm.
at SanchezTeamRE.com.
I love it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on. I really appreciate it.
No, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Have a good one.
You too. Thanks.